राय बनती हुई, लेकिन सीधा आपको लेके चलते हैं फिक्की में, जहां कैपिटल मार्केट कॉन्फ्रेंस में सेबी चेयरपर्सन माधवी पुरी बुच का संबोधन हो रहा है। आइए उनको सुनते हैं।
But certainly one of the important things that is within the control of SEBI is to process applications in a speedy manner and give approvals or rejections in a speedy manner, leaving no room for delays or indeed for any malpractice within the regulatory environment. Happy to share with you some data. You'll see 4 charts there. The first and most important reform we made in SEBI was, while technically every regulator counts pendency from this date of last receipt of all information, which gives every regulatory officer an escape hatch that if they are about to cross their target timeline, they simply ask one more question, right? This loophole has been plugged, and the data that you now see before you is the aging of applications from the date of first receipt. So no excuses, no sending last-minute questions. This is how it stacks up from the date of first receipt. You will notice that pendency goes up and down, which is not a bad thing. So for instance, if today, October 31st, we're seeing the data, equity fundraising, pendency is going up, that's a good thing. It means there are more applications, there are more people wanting to raise capital. So pendency in itself is not a bad thing. In fact, it is a good thing. The bad thing is aging. And so within SEBI now, if the department is within the green or within the yellow, which means less than 1 month or 1 to 3 months from first receipt of application, they're doing okay. The minute they go into the blue and the gray, and you can imagine why I've set it as gray within the organization, the minute it spills over there, every officer in SEBI knows that they are accountable to answer to the chair as to why they are in the gray zone. So as an example, yesterday I took stock, equity fundraising. Why are these 3 applications sitting there, and what are we doing about it? Why are they still sitting there? And I was very happy to see that on the spot, this was about 9:30 or 10 in the evening, and I was on the phone call asking the officer, why do you have 3 items which are more than 6 months? One is sub judice, so there's judicial intervention, we cannot do anything. And in 2 cases, it is awaiting some other regulator's approval. So again, we cannot do anything about it. So as you can imagine, the focus that we have on pendency and aging is because of the commitment that we made to each one of you here 1 year ago, that to us, we understand that in the markets, time is money, money is time, and any delay on the part of the regulator causes huge, not just inconvenience, but actual cost to the market participants, particularly to the issuers. So as you can see, we're doing a reasonably good job from pendency and aging, not pendency, but from aging, which was pretty much, significant numbers in the blue and gray zone. We've now come down quite a lot. In the case of mutual fund schemes, oh, wonderful. Less than 1 month, so I presume that they are not complaining. So what it really means is that you basically put in an application, and before you know it, SEBI has approved it because it's not even there as a pendency. So the important thing is every part of the ecosystem needs to have the ability to respond instantly to the market and to the investor needs without the regulator coming in the way. So this is our commitment that we wouldn't come in the way, and this is our progress report. Similarly, on AIF schemes, you can see everything is in the green and yellow, and compare that with March of last year, where we had almost 71 items in the blue and gray, and today there is 0. In the case of REITs and InvITs, of course, these are few and far between, but again, you can see that there is very low pendency. Also in terms of pendency of registrations, because it's not just about fundraising. It is about new participants coming into the market. And, you know, in the roundtable that we had earlier this morning, there was a discussion about, is it very onerous to really get things done in SEBI? So this is, again, this was our commitment, and here are the numbers. If you look at AIFs again, you know, registration. This is registration of somebody wanting to carry out this activity. Earlier, there were lots and lots of cases, over 24 cases in the blue and gray. Today, it's down to 0. Mutual funds, down to 0. Portfolio managers, there's one person sitting in 3 to 6 months. Otherwise, all in green and yellows, and so on. So this was our commitment that we made to you, that the regulator will not come in the way of your doing what you need to do in the market. And this was our sort of status report on that. The second thing that we had discussed last time, and it's been mentioned on numerous occasions today, that SEBI's whole objective and what we bring to the table is to ensure that there is trust in the system. So while we are very, very conscious of the need for having ease of doing business, if there is no trust in the system, there will be no business. If there is no business, there'll be no question of ease of doing business. To have the business, you must first have trust in the system. And this was the second commitment that we made. And of course, we had highlighted that the single most important tool that the regulator has for building trust is transparency. And in continuation of that, some of our regulations that had been brought about indeed created a requirement on further transparency in the entire ecosystem. But one thing that we were very conscious of, that because of this balance, and this is the theme of this session today, the balance between ease of doing business and trust and stakeholder protection. What we realized along the way was that nobody has a dispute with the regulator on the need for trust or the need for transparency.
तो फिक्की के जो वार्षिक कैपिटल मार्केट कॉन्फ्रेंस है उससे आपने सेबी चेयरपर्सन माधवी पुरी बुच को सुना। क्लियरली उन्होंने कहा कि कैपिटल फॉर्मेशन सबसे महत्वपूर्ण है सेबी के लिए, लेकिन वो चाहते हैं कि जितनी भी अर्जियां आती हैं उसकी जो प्रक्रिया उसको तेज किया जाए, फिर चाहे वो आईपीओ के आवेदन हो या म्यूचुअल फंड से एमएफ स्कीम से जुड़ी हुई किसी भी तरह की यहाँ पर आवेदन निकल कर आए, वो चाहते हैं और वो कर भी रहे हैं इसकी प्रक्रिया को तेज, और खासतौर से पिछले 1 साल में इस प्रक्रिया में बहुत तेजी लाई गई है।